Welcome to episode 163 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsberg, and my co-host, Warren Sklar. He's back. How you doing, Warren?
It seems like I'm doing like every other or third week with you here. It's summer, so what can I tell you? We're running back and forth.
The beach house. The beach house.
At the beach house, and we're doing some traveling and all sorts of stuff going on. Root canals, throw a root canal in there 1 week. So you got all that stuff. Yeah, that's half done, by the way. I still have to get the other half. It's terrible. Anyways, good to be back.
And that other person is back, and she's back. I'm so happy she's back. Kelly Guimont. How are you, Kelly?
Better than Warren, apparently.
No, I'm good now.
Because I don't have a root canal in my horizon. So.
Me either.
Yeah.
Well, you talk now, but it's going to happen.
Oh, no, I've had one.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm even happier that I don't have one on the horizon. So
no, it's half done, so I could actually feel the hole in my tooth with my tongue, which is a lot of fun.
So, no, Warren, not fun. Not fun. The other thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get on with the show here. Got some
Everyone
great news.
who's audio only is very happy right now.
Yeah, they are. They didn't get a good visual. Got the news of this week, and beta was very active this week. We'll have some good topics to talk about that, and a couple other tips and topics. And let's just dive right in here, like we always do. First story here on Mac Rumors, Apple released an updated firmware for the new Siri remote. Apple today released a new firmware update to the Siri remote designed for the Apple TV and the 4K and the Apple TV HD models. Firmware has an internal version, like everybody cares about the version, NM6772. And there was a different prior version. I'm not even going to get into that. But of course, like the Apple TV, they have no details on what they're updating it to. Nor have I actually looked at it yet. Kelly, do you have this remote? I don't know. I wasn't sure if you did or not.
I do. It's a very recent development, but yes, I do.
Oh, so you did get it. Okay.
And, well, I got it because it's what they give you with a 4K Apple TV, and that was the option I had available to me, so I exercised it. So I'm still grumpy about it, and I'm still grumpy about how much I paid for it, but it's literally the best option. Like, I went through and laid out, like, is there any way we could get away with something else? And there basically isn't, so... I got one of these, and so apparently I have to go update the remote now.
I can't lose mine because I have an Apple tag in here too.
Nice.
So
I have a silicone cover for the old one, almost exactly like that, that glows in the dark.
No,
which was really awesome for the little skinny one that was very hard to lose. Apparently, making this one a tiny bit thicker means it's never going to fall, that all black remote is never going to fall between my black leather couch cushions. So
it won't blend
wonderful.
in. Like that picture they were always showing where someone had an iPad with the black case and it was sitting on the car seat, and it looked, and you didn't see it.
I looked for my iPad for 3 weeks. I think it said on it.
Was sitting right on the seat.
I remember that one.
I'm still not getting used to the Siri mic button on the right side. I keep forgetting, and I also am not. I'm still having getting used to the touch knob as opposed to the touch on the other one. So
trying to use the voice assistant on the remote, that's on you. I basically never use it except occasionally. What did he say? Which is my only Apple TV pro tip. Is if you want to know what somebody said, if you ask the lady, what did he say or what did she say, it doesn't matter which one you use, it will automatically back up 10 seconds and then give you 10 seconds of closed caption, and then it stops. Cool. And then it just lets you keep going. So that's super handy, but that's the only thing I ever use it for.
I bet it's a lot of fun when you're watching with other people and they don't like that.
That's right.
Well, I only ever watch with my husband, and Mr. Kelly does it way more than I do. So it evens out.
And Warren, I know you don't have one of these, so I was going to ask any.
I have no desire, and my wife put the kibosh on any more remotes in the house, so we're good.
Yeah, figures much. So it's there. You won't know much about what it does, and I haven't even looked either. So
bug fixes and improvements, just like every other update we get, right?
They updated the listing device in there, so it's listening for you more.
Oh, okay. And then a couple stories here about the Apple Card, which I absolutely love having this card. Apple Card is going to lose a magnetic strip by 2029. MasterCard announced this week, as we record this, that its cards will no longer be issued with the magnetic stripe by 2029, which we're going to be presumably mean that includes the Apple Card, since it is MasterCard. Magnetic strip was, I like this history. It was invented in the early 1960s. That allowed card information to be encoded onto a magnetic tape and laminated on the back of a card, paving the way for electronic payment in terminals. But now we have a chip. So they say starting in 2024, MasterCard, credit and debit cards will not be required to feature a magnetic strip in most markets, including Europe. Banks in the United States will no longer be required to issue cards with it by 2027. So we got quite a few years left here, at least in the United States. By 2029, it'll be gone. And I guess some countries will be exempt, but by 2033, no more. But
I'm for this plan.
Most of Europe has been
chip
gone for
functioning
ever.
Well without it for a long time.
When I lived there a long time ago, they come up to the to your table when you're eating with the terminals with you, and you just basically do it that way. So
chip and pin, I
chip
think
and pin is what they call it. Yeah,
the system in Europe. Yeah.
So I mean, it's been there forever. But it's good. The only thing I just want to say, and then the only thing is, I've had my identity stolen twice in my life ever, and both times was because of the magnetic strip being skimmed. So good. Go away.
Yeah.
The gas pumps. The gas pumps are famous.
One was at the
skimmers.
gas pump. One was at the gas pump, and one was Heathrow terminal. They skimmed the machine.
Which you don't have to worry about anymore because you don't go to the gas pump.
That's right. And we can't fly to anywhere either. So
you're not going anywhere. So neither one of them is really a concern.
My magnetic strip is safe for now.
Yeah. So no, it's glad to see it, and the chips were here to say.
I'm glad it's happening because it's going to force a lot of upgrades in a lot of ancient technology. That's the part that I'm the happiest about, is that because a lot of that stuff is not very secure in this day and age, as Warren just pointed out, and B, it's not. It used to be sort of cost prohibitive to update those sorts of things, and so I'm glad that it's sort of being forced, that it's going to have to happen, that some people are going to have to update some of the hardware that they've got. So
and with that, Apple Pay, I bet a lot of places that don't take Apple Pay are going to replace their systems that will definitely come with NFC payments.
And that's where I'm headed, is a lot of that stuff is going to just give you NFC payment. Yeah. And at that point, Apple Pay, Android Pay, although Samsung Pay, Walmart Pay, whatever else is going to come out in the meantime, like they're all going to work, and it's going to be great.
Yes.
So, yeah,
absolutely.
That part is the other part I'm sort of looking forward to with all of this, is that contactless payment is just better. And actually, I'll give you a link, David, for the show notes. I wrote it not long after Apple Pay came out because a lot of people were very nervous about carrying their actual credit card numbers around on their phones, and that's not what's happening. So I'll give you a link for that. So because I sort of broke it down in very basic terms, like what it is that's actually happening. So it's not your actual credit card number. It's actually way safer to use your phone to pay for stuff than it is to use the card. Even if it's got a chip, it's way safer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't remember last time I've even taken that card out of my wallet. It's in my wallet, but it's always either my Apple Watch or my iPhone. So as long as they take Apple Pay. And then piggyback onto that, there's also an article here. There was an Apple Must actually today as we record this, that the Apple Card is the best U.S. credit card, says J.D. Power. While most U.S. users have been less satisfied with credit card issues during the first pandemic plague year, Apple Card user ratings say it's the best mid-sized credit card you can get. So it's according to both JD Power and Apple PR. So you got to kind of think of both there.
They've been giving all these interest-free months during the pandemic, and that's why probably everybody like it. I mean, that's why people like it, is because all of a sudden I would get an email saying, or not an email, but I would make a payment on my card. And it's like, oh, your payment's not due until like 2028. I'm like, what? But seriously, it's like, you don't have to pay for 3 months or 4 months, so with no interest, and they just do it like unsolicited, which was great, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and Goldman Sachs, who's the issuer of the Apple Card in the U.S., and it's new to the study. I mean, the card's only 2 years old. To have this record, 864, 47 points higher than the nearest issuer. They performed highest in 7 factors of benefits, services, communication. Yeah, I'll agree with that. They're very responsive in text. The terms are very good. Interaction and I don't know, key moments, but the rewards. I mean, I do like the fact that I can get up to 3% right away, immediately into my Apple Cash card and have a nice little bonus. So that's good to hear this stuff. And Apple was even more excited by saying only 2 years after introducing the Apple Card, first time being included in this study. And so absolutely, they should be happy about this. So
you got to wonder how much they're making off it, between 30%. No, that's the opposite.
I'm kidding.
But between, because it's two entities, it's Apple and Goldman Sachs. And then, how much can they possibly make off this card? But
yeah.
Well, the pro tip I would give you if you want to like your Apple Card better is to hook it to your iTunes account.
Yeah.
So not just because you get the cash back, but because you can use the balance of the cash back that you get to pay for stuff on through Apple. So that's nice. Like if you bought a computer recently, you might have nice. You might have a little balance there. So like when your Apple Music comes up for renewal, maybe it's sort of free, that kind of stuff. So it's very nice to have that, which is, I guess I'm apparently here to pipe up with pro tips on everything and how it could be a little bit better than it is now. So
we like it.
Yeah, that one I like a lot. And part of the reason for that is because I bought a new computer last fall and Mr. Kelly bought a new computer this spring. And so there's been a comfortable balance on that iTunes account for quite a while now. So it does help. And it's also really nice to just sort of have it there and not have to worry about it. And then if I do end up using it, I get 3% back on it anyway. So that's nice too.
Yeah. Well, we love those, the return on it. So
I need a minute. I'm sorry, I hear my dog crying, and I want to make sure she's not stuck somewhere. So
we'll carry on.
Carry on. I'm going to mute.
That's okay. And next story here in Mac Rumors, the titanium Apple Watch Series 6 model is now entirely unavailable. The Apple Watch titanium series is currently not available to purchase at all on Apple's online store, following some models being unavailable for delivery or pickup earlier this month, because we talked about this earlier. So as of August 1st, as we were recording this, select models were not available at all, and this is coming weeks ahead of what they expect that Apple is probably going to be announcing the new Series 7 with a new design. And I can trust Bloomberg's Mark Gurman about this because he's always very good at reporting those rumors. Of course, Apple hasn't given any comments back, so but I'm not surprised. The titanium is rather pricey. I think I think the aluminum is just fine for me. That's what I've always purchased. So what do you think, Kelly?
I always thought it was really spendy. I thought the ceramic one was really spendy. Like for people who want that, power to you. But I don't know anyone. I've never seen one in the wild of like the real nice ones. I've never seen one in the wild. And I've only accidentally seen the high-end watch bands. And that's only because I am acquainted with Rene Ritchie. And so I have occasionally bumped into him at in-person events. And so I have once in a while seen one of the nice watch bands, but that's it. So like maybe, I mean, this is the same thing we say whenever Apple makes any kind of decision, which is, Apple has all of the data about how well it's selling or not. And so it's entirely possible that they just sort of let that peter out. And maybe it's going to be, maybe it's because the new watch is going to come in some transparent titanium, or we're going to get the vibranium edition or something. I don't know. I have a Marvel podcast after this, so I'm on comic books now.
It might match with your clear band, right? Right, Warren?
I went with the mesh the other day. So
well, but you did have that clear band that showed off your arm hair, so
and I still like it. So yeah, it's a nice band actually. But yeah, as far as it's what is it? August, September is next month. The watch is coming. So
what?
Yeah, I think
September's next month,
isn't it?
We're breaking all kinds of news here on In Touch with iOS.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
According to the watch. So so a new watch is coming. So it's it's not a big deal actually. I went Series 0, 1, and 2. I went to stainless steel. And then after that, I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Because all I do is sell them to get the next one, and nobody cares at that point that it's stainless steel. So I've just been getting the aluminum at this point. So I'll continue to do that.
That's what I've been doing. My nice blue one. I'm like happy with the blue.
I like the brushed because I don't generally I don't have a silver tone watch band, like an aluminum watch band or a stainless watch band that I have to worry about it being like different kinds. So I'm always wearing, like right now I'm wearing the Pride band. I have the other Pride band and the other Pride band, and I have like a couple of silicone ones that I rotate through, and I have one from Nomad that's just plain black. So I use those, and so it doesn't matter that I'm not worried about it having to match the finish on the body of my watch. So I always wear a colorful one anyway. So
I've been there too. And when I first went to the brush metal, I had you ever see the covers, the faces that could kind of change the outside of it. So I would get like a shiny aluminum one or a shiny gold one to try to match it with my shiny bands, and it just bolted up. It didn't look right, so I ended up just abandoning that idea. But I mean, I have a couple of nice. I have the Black Link Apple one, which is the really nice one. Not quite the Hermes.
Oh yeah,
but it's nice, and I got it for a good deal, and I've had it since Series 1, and it's great. Yeah, it's one of my favorite bands.
There's a lot of really nice bands out there that are not silver tone that would look really nice with the aluminum watch.
Oh yeah. So, it's just got to be like not too shiny, and then it's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Next story, Adobe. Our friends at Adobe announced new features for Photoshop on the desktop and the iPad. Apple today announced several new updates for Photoshop apps available for the Mac and the iPad. It's gaining a healing brush and magic wand feature, bringing it in line with for the desktop. iPad version was introduced in 2019 and it launched. It was very limited, honestly. It lacked a lot of features. We were all excited to see that Photoshop could be, really competing against its desktop brother or sister. In addition to those two features, it's gaining some canvas projection, which allows Photoshop users to share their canvas or collaborate live on a larger screen, which is cool. You can hook your iPad up to a TV screen through HDMI or USB-C. Other new additions, you got the neutral filters and all kinds of other fun stuff. It's here in the article and the show notes. So it's good to see Adobe's finally getting Photoshop in line, and then it's going to make people more excited to be using this product. I don't use it. I don't know about you, Kelly, but
I do not.
It's a little pricey for me.
I went Affinity a long time ago, particularly because it started out on my iPad. I wanted to be able to make some basic edits, and there was no Photoshop at that point. And so I went with Affinity Design, or I don't think it's Affinity Photo. I went with Affinity Photo, and I have a couple of other apps that are along similar lines that I absolutely cannot remember the name of right now. But that for some basic stuff, if I'm going to do it on my iPad, I basically use the Affinity stuff to do it. It's pretty great. So, any
comments on that, Lamar?
No, I'm unfortunately very uncreative in these programs, and I want to be more creative because I got this. We've had the iPad, and now I have the iPad Pro, and I would love to get that pencil because it does funny things, but I have no need to do that. And I'm just not. I'm musically creative, but I don't. My brother does artwork for a living. He might like that kind of stuff, but I don't.
Yeah. You don't need the pencil for art, though. You need the pencil. For what I do every morning is I lay out my day in a PDF. I import a PDF into Notability and scribble all my notes down in handwriting so that it's better for me to remember, but I have everything in one place that I can carry around with me that's easy to access on all my devices, but I'm able to do the handwriting. And so it makes it...
I haven't handwritten... Since computers started, I don't think I've handwritten anything because I hate my handwriting. And the only thing I think I ever had... Honestly, I think the only thing I've ever done is sign my name. Everything else has been typed.
You kind of have to do that.
Yeah, I just yeah. And I could avoid that too. Sometimes I could insert my signature, but sketching is note taking is good too. But it's just not something I would do on it.
And
I'm just trying to help you buy an Apple Pencil, Warren. I'm trying to enable you. Yeah. Go with me on this.
What else can you do with it? Can you use? I heard you can use it as not a mouse, but you could use it to touch your screen.
You can use it as an input device. Yes.
Yeah. Which
I do a lot of typing.
Yeah, it appeals to me because of fingerprints. I don't like that. So.
I use it. I also use it for podcast editing because I use an app called Ferrite to edit my podcast. And the one that I edit, I use Ferrite to do that. And using the Apple Pencil for that is really nice because of the precision. So it makes it very easy to get exactly between the words when I'm trying to cut something out and all of that. So it's really, really nice. Yeah. And it's got I have the second generation Apple Pencil. So it's got where in Ferrite, you can adjust the controls. So if you double tap the side of the pencil, what you want it to do, it can play or pause or back up 5 seconds so you can hear the edit you just made or whatever. And it's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So by far, that's the thing I use it for the most is podcast edits. And then a close second is I spend time in the morning scribbling out my day in a little day planner PDF that I have.
Stick figures when you're bored?
I would have to label a stick figure. That's the level of artwork I'm capable of. So I do occasionally try and
all that good stuff.
Or let me just show you the thing I'm trying to if we do this in the yard, I've done house project kinds of things, like taking a picture, taking a drone photo of the backyard and marked up here's where all the sprinklers are and here's where we want to take this piece out, yard projects and things. Or take a picture of the front of the house, lay out the Christmas lights. I've done those sorts of things. So Operation Griswold is a lot of work, y'all.
Yeah, you do a lot more things than I do. It sounds like so.
All right, let's move on. This is from 9 to 5 Mac. iOS 14.7.1 users complain about no service bug after updating their phones. This was
complainers.
Always complainers. Well, you're on beta, so you don't. You don't
need to use your phone as a phone. So,
so a few weeks ago, Apple did introduce the 14.7.1. We did talk about this. So that fixed a big bug with the Apple Watch that was unlocking, and they addressed that security vulnerability that was being actively exploited. But now some iPhone users, not me, not us, I don't think, in this version are experiencing no service coverage message from their carriers. Users are saying that restarting the phone, removing the SIM, even resetting the network. I couldn't remove the SIM as I'm using an eSIM. Didn't help. So Apple really hasn't acknowledged this. There's a support page that's dedicated. It's linked in the article here about no service. It's searching and give you some tips. But interestingly enough, we talked about this, and this hasn't gotten a lot of press. This is actually in ZDNet. That was talking about this, that reportedly Apple is developing iOS 14.8, which is kind of strange since iOS 15 is down, around the corner, because they found that code in Xcode. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Yeah. But it seems isolated because not a lot of people have been complaining about it. What do you think, Kelly?
This strikes me as the kind of thing that Apple doesn't really want to talk about until what they can talk about is the fix.
Right.
And so that may be why we haven't heard anything about it. Also, when I look at these things about this is what we found in Xcode, I always think, and that's why I could never have a developer job at Apple, because even if I were a developer, I would go and I'd be putting in there iOS 16, and we're making a 9-inch iPhone, and we're making iTunes 26, setting a timer to wait and see how long it takes the internet to lose their minds over, right now I would be putting a string for a new version of iTunes in the Monterey beta just to see what happens, because that's my idea of entertainment. Yeah. So I would be that person all right, and I'm pushing the button to release this now, and then literally setting a timer to wait and see how long it takes somebody to go, oh my God, iTunes is coming back.
Oh my God, they're crazy. Any thoughts, Warren, before we move on?
The only thought is, didn't Apple say that they weren't going to twist people's arm to go to 15? They said you could be on the 14 track and the 15 track. So my guess is after the next month, they're going to announce some feature that's available on the new phone on iOS 15. And then they'll say, good news, if you're on iOS 14, you could get partially some of that features. And that's why you're going to have a 14.8. So that's what I think is going to happen there.
Yeah, there's something coming that's gonna roll out to maybe some of the other photography features or something will come out.
Something that that
you can use on a newer phone.
And maybe if you have iOS 14, you can still get some of that, and that's why they want to add some things to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next story, and I know this is going to be real exciting for Kelly. 9 to 5 Mac. Apple releases Ted Lasso sticker pack for iMessage and clips. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
All right.
You only know this is exciting to me because you sent me one, and I went, "Oh my god, I need one of these right away." Yeah.
I hope you grabbed them.
I did. It's free.
It is free.
It's great.
Apple didn't actually officially announce these stickers. They appeared to just been added to the App Store about a week ago. So people were just kind of discovering them. So yeah, it's really cool. Like Football is Life, Is a Soccer, Believe. You got Ted's just his head and his glasses and his mustache, and Keely's there, Roy's there,
and they're all animated. That's the thing I liked about them is that every one of them is like
just
subtle animation.
And he's holding a cup. His British cup.
Or even the
can we talk about our disappointment of the Christmas episode, because I liked it, so.
I'm not disappointed in it at all.
No, but have you read the news? Like, have you read people complaining about it or no?
It's not my fault people hate Christmas and fun. Like, I can't help it if people don't like fun.
I said the same thing. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
It's only going to be like released at a weird time for another few months, and then it'll just be a thing you can watch
it again during Christmas
anyway, and it'll be great. Like, it
wasn't even like it wasn't the time. Well, I was part of it too, but it was corny, right? The ending was corny.
No spoilers.
I didn't find it corny. I found it like the right amount of Christmassy sentiment. And I think maybe it just felt out of place in the middle of August. Literally watched it while we were under a heat warning here.
Oh yeah, it was hot.
So it was, triple digit weather, and I'm like, Christmas, this is gonna be great. But I thought it was a lot of fun, and in fact was very excited that I got to host the Incomparable episode about it over at Football is Life. So
you got your plug-in. Good. I was gonna say.
I thought it was a delightful episode. It has all kinds of things that I love very much in the world. It was a Christmas episode. It had karaoke. It had scotch. It had chosen family. It had all kinds of things that I love. So all of those were wonderful.
I mean, kind of silly.
I don't love that, but Roy's reaction was comic genies. Like,
why is
watching that face?
Why do you have to search for a dentist? So I mean,
all right, let's
doesn't he have the internet to find it?
Let's
finish the story. Finish the story 3 weeks ago. That the comic timing in this episode was a masterclass in comic timing. That's the rest of it. It's so good. I enjoyed it so much, and I always say let people like things. And, if people want to bash it, go ahead and bash it. But I'll tell you what, the end of this year, it's going to be on repeat at my house. As soon as A Christmas Story is done with its 24-hour run, I'm just going to run that for another 24 hours. That's what's happening.
We're going to do it.
So.
All right, let's move on here. This is in Cult of Mac. Warren was just talking about going to watch Suicide Squad after the show today. HBO Max plans to fix its broken Apple TV app, quote unquote, within days.
I was going to say, watch it if you can, Warren.
Yeah. I don't have it on my Apple TV. I have it on my TV. So.
Oh, okay.
It seems to be okay.
Then you're good.
They plan to fix the Apple TV's buggy app within days. I now realize, I was just thinking, when I'm watching shows on HBO, it's like HBO Max, I'm like, why is it so difficult to get the next episode? We've been plagued with issues affecting playback controls, subtitles, general usability, and executives insist they aren't blind to the problem, but a major overhaul of the platforms is on the way. And they're rolling out a number of fixes to address significant issues with its streaming apps in recent months. Well, what do you expect? AT&T's involved.
See, that's all you needed to say.
Yeah, that's all I would say. So, I hope they fix it. I've been liking a lot of shows on HBO. I mean, I just mentioned there's a show I've been watching, Hacks. It's on HBO Max with Gene Smart. A lot of fun, and I forget the gal's name is the daughter of Lorraine Newman. So, a lot of good shows. Yeah. And watching it on your iPad is a joy because that's what I've been doing. So, Any thoughts?
I need it to get better because if it gets any worse, it's going to be the TiVo app, and that's just going to make me mad. I mean, yeah. I go. I'm pretty upset with the TiVo app right now. So the TiVo app for iOS, it is substandard in every possible way, and I'm really not pleased about it. And part of the reason I'm not pleased about it is because when I've called to complain about it, they tell me there's an update coming. There's an update coming, and the update's going to fix everything. And I'm like, okay, when is that update? Because the App Store shows me the last time you released an update to this app was 10 months ago. Yeah. So I'm kind of not convinced that there's an update coming. So we'll see. So, I'm in that once a week, like delete the app, restart my iPad, reinstall the app, and cross my fingers when I hit launch the second time. And it makes me very, very unhappy. But I want it to get better. And that's the thing is like, I'm kind of at the point where it'd be nice if I upgraded my TiVo box, but I'm not sure I still want another TiVo box if this is the best experience I can get on my iPad, because
they bought out so many times.
As much as I grump about Comcast and not liking my Comcast service, the few times I've tried to use the Comcast app on my iPad, it's been fine.
It works good for me.
It just works. Here's your shows. You want to record some stuff? I'm like, I don't have a DVR. It's like, oh, sorry. Well, we have all this other stuff available for you if you want to watch it. And if I do, then like it all is just fine. So I'm almost at the point where I'm like, maybe I need to get a Comcast box. And I feel I don't feel any better about that. So there's a lot of conflict if I have to.
And since Warren doesn't care about Apple TV, we'll move on. The iCloud, and this is also 9 to 5 Mac, iCloud for Windows updated with a new password manager app. Apple today, they did release an iCloud app for Windows users, finally bringing a new password manager app.
I've tried it.
And does it work?
Yeah, it works. They eased into it. So the first stage they did a Chrome extension with iCloud. So they did that a couple of weeks ago. So now they're doing this too. I turned it off. I had it on because I have to use Windows here and there. Yeah. And if you use a Mac and Windows and have this all enabled, things get funny. They start to fight with each other.
Okay. Yeah.
And then if you use let's say you use Chrome on the Mac and Chrome on the Windows, and you have the extension installed. The extension is installed on the Mac version, and things get ugly. So it's not a beautiful situation, but I suppose there are a couple of Windows only users with iPhones, which is probably who this would be for. Not for somebody who uses too many devices.
Not too many people listening here are using Windows, but
I figured it was work PC. Like if your house is Apple, but your work computer is not. Yeah, I know loads of people in that situation, and it'd be nice to have some decent password management. Yeah. In that respect, like at least something you're familiar with, and then you can log into that stuff on your phone or whatever. Yeah. I know a lot of people who have a work iPhone and a PC even. So like for those folks, it's probably good too. Like anything that makes you more secure and it's really not less convenient, I'm always going to be for that. So yay. I'm glad they're taking a shot at it, because now like it'll get refined as people give them feedback. It should get better.
Absolutely.
iCloud for Windows has been historically bad. And
very bad.
They keep trying, but it's so just integrated with the system that it just doesn't do the things you want to do.
Right.
Like, I've tried, if you ever try to do the photo version of it, to turn it on the photo library, it's terrible. You have to download manually things. So, maybe one day they'll get it right, but we'll see.
All right, then the last story here, we're going to talk about Netflix is now rolling out spatial audio support on the iPhone and the iPad. This is a 9 to 5 Mac. Netflix has confirmed that it is now rolling out spatial audio support on both iPhone and iPad applications. This will enable that immersive experience using directional audio filters, and has been a long time coming to Netflix users. And Netflix did confirm that with 9 to 5 Mac, and it's been reported around on Reddit and other places. So the toggle for managing the spatial audio is going to be in the control center, and it'll be exclusive to the AirPods Pro, yay, and the AirPods Max. Apple says spatial audio is an immersive experience using directional audio filters, as Warren places his springs on his mic. It definitely is a welcome, especially for many of us who enjoy
it's coming to HomePods too.
Yep.
Is that what they're coming to HomePods too?
Oh, nice.
For Netflix,
Yep.
so.
HomePods Mini. So Kelly, you sound excited about this.
Well, I think it's interesting. And part of the reason I think it's interesting is because Netflix still doesn't play nice with the Apple TV app.
Yeah.
So like Netflix won't show up in your Up Next or anything. And I don't know anyone else who's doing any sort of spatial audio stuff. So I don't know if spatial audio is coming to Netflix if you use a Roku or, that like a Fire TV stick or, any other sort of streaming situation. So I think it's interesting that they're willing to give Apple they're willing to do a certain amount of stuff for iPhone users and for Apple users in general. And yet they still won't integrate with the TV app so that I can continue to watch, binge Netflix stuff because the more I use the TV app, the less I remember that there's stuff I was watching on Netflix. So that's part of why I thought it was interesting. So maybe that'll be next. I'm going to just hope. And I will be disappointed. It happens frequently.
Absolutely. Any comments more before we move on?
No, that's definitely good. I'm going to try it out. I have Netflix account and I got AirPods Pro.
I'm trying to.
So let's see what happens. I'm trying to think in my head what movie on Netflix I would want to start with, but I can't come up with much on that.
Well, there's plenty to choose from.
Well,
does it come into everything on Netflix, or is it just come into like originals or some stuff? Do we know?
I don't know. I mean, they reverse engineer it with music, right? They were able to add it to older songs, so I guess they might be able to do it with movies too. Yeah. But I'm thinking something really science fiction-y, kind of like spaceships and blah blah blah. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and we'll check it out here. So let's move to the topics this week. Beta, because we have our resident beta expert, Mr. Warren here. We're on iOS 15 beta 6. The two big things that happened this week as we record. SharePlay is going to be disabled when it gets rolled out, and Safari redesign. First, talk about the Safari redesign. I think everybody was complaining about the floating bar on the bottom of the screen on the iPhone. So now on the iPhone, they now moved it back up. So the address bar is back where it was, like it is in iOS 14. And you also can change the bottom bar if you want to opt to have the toggle between the tab bar view. But, again, there's going to be a lot more changes coming you would anticipate. That's why it's beta. So they've got some changes in here, but I think the biggest story was SharePlay was removed in beta 6. Apple has temporarily removed it, and because they're not ready. And Kelly, I don't know if you guys have talked about this, but I think it's interesting to see why this happened. Maybe Apple isn't ready yet it's not ready for prime time, and they really overhyped it. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it may not be, and I'm kind of disappointed because the things that I thought were the most interesting when people talked to me about SharePlay, I did an interview with a developer who makes a telemetry app for iOS. So you can use it to see, it's all completely anonymous, but you can see how many people opened this thing or experienced a crash or went to this particular menu option or whatever in your app. And he was excited about being able to use that to talk to people who are using his app. Like, let me step you through that. I'll show you what this looks like here. And then, you don't like pie charts, you like bar graphs. Let me flip that for you. And now you can see, the same thing. So he's talking about using it for business reasons. And the people that were talking about it the most, it seemed like to me, were the stuff that was the most exciting was not you can watch a movie with people who are not hanging out in your basement with you. And that's the part I thought was going to be exciting about it, was when it finally rolled out that we were going to get some really interesting applications of it. So for it to be gone, I'm kind of disappointed, but it could just be that they found something fundamental, like security wise, and it's going to come back in the next beta. And then, everybody got worked up about nothing. So, that's always a possibility too, because we've seen stuff come and go in the beta cycle. It's the point of the beta cycle is to make sure that what we get is solid.
Things are, the problem is, I'm hearing people talk like the betas are the final release because people are all up in arms about Safari being changed, or like, and I'm reading some of the comments and it's like, I can't believe Apple released something like that. And I'm like screaming in my head, it's not released. It's
not released.
It's in beta. It only beta people should know about it. Right. Like, so people are complaining about that. People are complaining about the sharing going away, but if they launch it on iOS release day, then they didn't lie. It's in beta. Universal access, the one feature I really upgraded. The whole reason I did this quickly is because I really wanted to play universal access, because I think that's going to be awesome with the iPad. Never happened. So I mean, every week I'm getting sadder and sadder that it doesn't come to me, because I'm looking forward to that more than any other feature on it. But yeah, the people who are just kind of saying, I can't believe Apple changed Safari, I can't believe Apple doing this. They're listening. Obviously, this is what beta is for. This is why there's a beta for public feedback, and this is why there's a public beta as well for more public feedback. So chill your horses. Is that a thing? No, it should be a thing.
Anything else, Warren, that you noticed that you've been happy with, you sad with, besides those? Salesforce worked for 2 of the betas, and then it stopped working again. So it took away. So one of my games that didn't work now works. Everything works now except for Salesforce, which is kind of a bummer, but whatever. Well, especially if you have to use it.
I have to use it, so it's a pain in the butt. Because there's no browser version, or there's a secret way to get the browser version. But no, haven't really noticed much with the iPhone or the iPad. They had a watch beta that I did 2 days ago.
Anything Apple Watch?
Nothing. I mean, what I could tell you is the unlock with Apple Watch timing has gotten really good. For the last 3 betas. Yeah, so it's even better than it was in iOS 14, where it kind of really unlocks everything and talks to each other a little bit better. So that should be good.
All right. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
So that's it for beta this week. I got all the articles linked in the show notes if you want to review more of what's going on. I found this article interesting that I came across. Thought it'd be a good topic. This is actually from CDNet. So you wonder sometimes what they'll talk about when it comes to Apple. But I thought this was interesting. Apple iPhone could be forced to use the USB-C instead of Lightning. But then he says, but Apple is likely to end up not using either. And I guess you're dealing with the European Commission, who's putting pressure on electronics manufacturers to come up with a common charger for smartphones and other devices. Most manufacturers are using USB-C or micro USB-C. God, that's still there. That leaves Apple as the biggest name in the Commission's crosshairs. According to Reuters, legislation was being drafted following a vote last year to push for a common charger. I don't know. That's going to be pretty tough to really push, but they really should. I think the Lightning connector is well overdue. I would be sad because as most of any of us out there have drawers full of cables with the Lightning charger and docks
and accessories
and all kinds of other accessories. So, well, what do you think, Warren? Do you think this is something that Apple is going to have to give in on sooner or later? Because obviously they gave in a little bit on the iPad. I mean, but iPads, cheaper iPads don't have it. They're still Lightning. So
but why are we even forcing them out? They should have done this 3 years ago when they did the iPad Pro. Because I mean, right now I don't between my Macs and my iPads and my phone, everything is USB-C. And it's like, now it's becoming a problem, except I'm looking at my AirPods case, which is still Lightning, but
it's also wireless charging.
It's also wireless. Well, so is the phone. So, I mean, I guess ZDNet's saying they're not going to use either. So it's obviously saying they're going to take the whole away, which is what Apple wants to do. Obviously
portless.
They want to be portless, and there's reasons. It's more environmental proof. It's more dust proof. It's more waterproof. There's logical reasons to make a port proof because it makes it a more durable, environmentally friendly phone. So I get that. I'm not a big wireless charger person. I like my cables. So, but if they go to USB-C, I'm stocked. I would let them do it at this point. Go USB-C.
It's not going to happen. They did this once before, and they said like all the phones need to use micro USB instead of whatever nonsense they're using. And so Apple went, okay, European phones come with an adapter. Your move. And they still made Lightning phones. We got all the wailing and gnashing of teeth when Apple dispensed with the 30-pin. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like when it's Lightning. Yeah. The primary difference, I think, now is that there are a lot of low-cost alternatives. And there didn't used to be. When we first got Lightning cables, if you did not buy the $29 Apple one, you were screwed, basically. And there were very few 30-pin options that were not from Apple. So I'm more interested in what Apple's going to do next, because I don't think it's ever going to be portless. I can see why they would want to, but it should be USB-C. It should have been USB-C in the 12 when they went back to the square sides, where they would have had, I would have gladly paid for a phone that was 2 millimeters thicker. So you could have just given me a USB-C port and I could use the same cable that charges my phone and everything else. If you have a Nintendo Switch or an iPad Pro or a gaming headset or any of a number of other things, like lots and lots of stuff uses USB-C now. And so it wouldn't be a big deal. Most people, if you have a recent, a late model laptop from anybody, it's probably got USB-C on it. It probably came with a cable. So, for the most part, I wish they'd just go USB-C and be done with it and kind of rip that Band-Aid off, all at once. I wish they'd done it with all of the iPads, and that would have been the right way to go.
Right.
Ages ago, the iPad is thin and the iPad Air is really thin, but if they were a tiny bit thicker and you could give me USB-C with that, then rock and roll. So, yeah.
I mean, logically, you would have thought the iPhone Pros would have had the USB-C, and the ones with a home button would still have the Lightning cable,
just like the iPad lineup. It would have been fine. Yeah.
So I'm just surprised they didn't do that either, too, because if it's a price thing, then
I just don't think it's going to change. I don't think the EU is going to change Apple's mind on this. They didn't do it last time they tried to do this, and they're not going to do it this time.
Well, you're right about the 30-pin thing, because that's right. What Apple's scared about. That Apple's saying we're not going through that again, because if we change this, we're just going to get millions of angry letters of people who have all these cables.
But I don't think they got millions of angry letters. I think there were just a bunch of people that went on Twitter and decided to be mad, because that's what people like to do, and that's
did they even have Twitter back then when that 30-pin went away?
Yeah. Yes.
96.
What was it?
98. What was it? 96, 97?
No, that's not when they went Lightning. We had 30-pin iPhones.
You're talking about Twitter.
Twitter came out in 90. What was that?
Twitter's been around for like 14 years.
No.
13, 14 years. Yeah.
No, I'm not that old. I remember the day it came out. I am old, but
okay. Old.
Okay. On the one hand, yes, that's true. But also, the 80s were still only 20 years ago, so it's fine.
Okay. I feel much better.
Yeah. And also I wanted to bring up, this was quite a big story, and I'm sure you guys are going to cover this tomorrow, Kelly, and Mac Server's Daily Observations. T-Mobile, their data breach include personal information of almost 50 million customers. T-Mobile did issue a statement today about further details. So they finally confirmed that there was a cyber attack of their servers and data breach that include personal information of about 50 million current, former, and prospective customers. The numbers have been fluctuating. They were saying up to 100 million people, and everybody's freaking out. And, because we've included things like your birthdays, your names, or social security, identifications like driver's license. But they're saying only about 7.8 million, which is still quite a bit, of current customers, which includes me, and I think Warren as well. So they're just telling people that you should proactively change your PINs, change your passwords, which I need to do. And they're also going to offer, oh boy, I want 2 years of free identity protection services from McAfee. But what do you think, Kelly? I mean, this just keeps on going here, and it's actually surprising that this happened to T-Mobile.
So, well, okay, it's not only because this is at least the third data breach that I can think of for T-Mobile of theirs. There's one in 2019. There's one in 2018. And the thing that I thought was good about this one, if there could be, is that they were very upfront about here's what happened. Here's what we know about what happened. Here's what we're doing about what happened. And here are some things that you can do about what happened. There's a page right on their website of like, here's a link to change your password. Here's a link to how to set up additional security on your account so that your phone can't get ported out from under you. And, you know, as people like to do shady things to it and stuff like that. So they have like, at least they have a bunch of resources available for people, and they step through like right at the top of the page. Like, we've had a data breach. Here's what we know happened. Here's what we're investigating right now. Here are the things that we can tell you about what we know so far. And here are some things that you can do if this could have been a thing that affected you. I think the part that is the worst about it is that they were not clear on the time frame. So they didn't say if you were a prospective customer of T-Mobile in the last 18 months, in the last 6 years, in the last 15 years, like they never gave any sort of timeline. So like if you've ever attempted to do business with T-Mobile, your information could be part of this breach. And that's the thing that I didn't like about it. But otherwise, like the response has been decent. But yeah, somebody unsavory being able to get a hold of that much information, like it is a little worrisome, I guess, for especially because they've had problems before. And so the fact that there still continues to be ways that people are getting in and getting this information is the part that I sort of am unhappy about, because I haven't seen anybody break it down, you know, like, well, this data breach happened because X, and this data breach happened because Y, and this one happened because Q. So there was no way we saw that one coming or could have prepped for it or, you know, whatever. Like, I'm not seeing any of that.
Absolutely. Warren, what do you think? I mean, this is something that is worrisome to you?
For me, no. I, as I said before, the only time I ever had anything happen to me ever was because of the magnetic strips on my card. And I've never had an issue. I mean, most of the stuff that T-Mobile leaked out is available somewhere else. I mean, it's not like they're not getting private pictures, you know, of us. They're getting numbers that are out on the internet. And identity theft is not as scary as people think, because there's protections all over it. You have every major credit card now has identity protection. We've had people use our credit card before. That wasn't us. And we've called the bank, and after 10 minutes, they say, okay, we dropped the charges, and that's it. So, you know, maybe in the 70s or 60s, it was bad because they didn't do that because of cost. But, you know, so what's the worst that's going to happen with this? Identity theft, they're going to take your credit card. They're going to buy things. Credit card company calls you. They drop, they send you a new card and you don't pay anything. Unless somebody's going to actually pretend to be me, like for real somewhere. I guess I would find out. We're having an issue right now with unemployment. People claiming unemployment for people that aren't themselves, and that's part of the that maybe somebody got their social security number off the internet and did it that way. But again, everything is sort of reversible and fixable if somebody gets this information. So absolutely doesn't bother me, I guess is what I'm saying.
All right, but go out there. If you're not comfortable, change your password on T-Mobile's site, change the PIN, and just be safe out there. I mean, that isn't a bad idea. I need to still do that. I haven't done it yet. So I want to wrap things up with some Apple Watch tips. We don't tend to talk too much about the Apple Watch. There's some tips here, and I wanted to review a couple here. I don't know about you, but the honeycomb layout of the Apple Watch apps, I could take it or leave it.
I left it 6 years ago.
Yeah.
We hate it, precious. It burns us. So that's why we suggest that you use the list view, which will get rid of that honeycomb and replace it with a nice long alphabetical order list of apps. So the way you set that is you got to find the settings app on your Apple Watch, and then you select the app view, and then select list view. Then it gives you a nice pretty list of all the apps, and it's nice. I can scroll through them and not have to zig and zag around with that honeycomb. So that's one tip here. And then I always wanted to know, how do you hide third-party
Apple Watch apps. Some of these third-party apps that you download also appear on your Apple Watch. Drives me crazy. Things like Bank of America or whatever bank did you do, maybe Google Maps or some other apps. I mean, I go through and pretty much say no, I don't want it on my phone, on my watch. So you go into the Apple. You go into the iPhone's watch app, and then you make sure that you're in the My Watch tab. Then you scroll down and then look at installed on Apple Watch section and toggle off that you never use those, and then the app will be removed from the Apple Watch. So if you don't want to use that, that's one of the ways I suggest that you do that. You guys you ever use any of that? That's what I always try
I default to everything to install on the watch, just in case. I mean, honestly, I never know if I'm ever going to want it or need it, so I might as well put it on there until I run out of space.
Okay. And then how do you mute Apple Watch notifications? Some notifications drive me crazy, and I don't want to be bothered. So same thing, you can also turn those off. If you go into the Watch app on your iPhone, select notifications. Under Mirror My iPhone list, toggle off the button next to the app that you don't want notifications from. So at least it gives you a granular way of being able to turn off a specific app that you could care less that it notifies you, and that does turn it off. This one is interesting. I didn't even realize you could do this, and I don't know how practical it is, but you can make your Apple Watch a few minutes fast on purpose. It's not uncommon. Sometimes you want to adjust the time of your watch, or any clock for that matter, that make it run fast. So you're either earlier or you're ahead of your schedule. Of course, the Apple Watch pulls the time from your iPhone or the internet, but you can manually set it so you can make it up to however many minutes faster or slower if you so choose. And the way you do this is you go and open up the settings app on your Apple Watch, select clock, tap the +0 min bar, and then spin the digital crown, and it'll allow you to set the total minutes that you want it to display. And you are able to set the clock so it runs up to 59 minutes fast. Oh boy, I'd really want to do that. I could see 5 or 10 minutes, but okay, 59 minutes, a little crazy. So I heard you were surprised with that, Kelly. I don't think it's not something all of us probably take advantage of, but you might want to.
No. Like 2 minutes is really all I need, and that would make a huge difference in my life. So I like
there you go.
Now
you can move it to 2 minutes. Yeah. And then lastly, I wanted to. I know I use this all the time. You can use your Apple Watch as an alarm clock, and I really love the nightstand mode on the Apple Watch. And I have the disc charger from Apple. It's got the flip up charging piece in it. So I set my watch in there, and it goes into that mode, and I could set the alarm on it, and it becomes my alarm clock. And the way you set it is go into the settings app on your Apple Watch. You select general, and then you can select the nightstand mode to toggle it on, and then it'll turn on each time you put the Apple Watch into a charger on the side. Or if you use the charger that came with the Apple Watch, you can just put the watch, set it on its side, and it'll come up as a nightstand mode. And every time you see it, you'll see just a big display of the time, and then of course tells you that when your battery's fully charged. So those were a couple cool tips with the Apple Watch you don't hear about too often. So I thought I would share that with everybody. So with that, you have something to say, Kelly?
Yes. Have you met me? I have two tips. I have two tips. The first is if you don't, I wear my watch to bed because while the alarm clock piece is nice, the gentle wrist buzz to wake up to is delightful. It is such.
Charge it in the morning.
Well, yeah. So like first thing when I get to work, I have a meeting that lasts a minimum of half an hour, and so I make sure I charge it while I'm sitting in my meeting. And then I charge it later at different times during the day. Like
the meeting is when you want it. That's a de facto time is when you want to watch is during the meeting, so you don't have to look at your phone. You gotta,
Well, I have to sit in front of my computer. It's a Zoom meeting, so I'm chained to my desk in front of the camera, much like the setup that we have here. So dropping it on. So I have a charger on my desk, and so I drop it on my charger at work. And then I also have between that and like charging when I take a shower and charging, like if I have a meeting, like if I know I have a meeting that's going to be an hour long or whatever, and I just drop it on while I'm doing that, then I've not had a problem with the battery life. I have a Series 4. and it's been solid all the time.
Does a half hour give you, like, if you wear it during the night and do like a half hour, you think that's enough to get you through the day?
It gets me a good portion of the way through the day. And then like when I eat lunch, I'll drop it onto charger for another half hour or so, and then that's usually all it really takes. And then you get an alert.
I've been thinking about doing the same. I've been thinking about sleeping.
So good, and it feels just so much more civilized to get that little buzz on your arm. To wake up to in the morning. It's just so much more pleasant, and nobody else wakes up, which is also an advantage. So I love that. If you want to put it in nightstand mode, though, David's going to have a link in the show notes to the greatest charger that you can have for your Apple Watch, because it is spectacular. And then the other tip I want to give is that, because I think a lot of people probably use this, is the Find Your Phone little chirp from your watch. But instead of just tapping on it, if you tap and hold on it, then when the chirp goes off, the light flashes on the back of your phone too. And so then, like, you know, if it's in the car, for example, or whatever, then that gives you a much better option because you can see it. So,
absolutely,
yeah, that's the other one that I would give, is because like it seems like a lot of people don't know about that one, and I really love that one. So that's one of my all-time favorites. So I'm gonna try and send the link to you live while we're on the show, so I can see everybody's reaction to it. So there it is. This is the greatest the greatest watch charger in the history of watch chargers. Every time I put my watch on this charger, it makes me happy.
Elgato.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Nice. Like, it's because it looks like the Apple Macintosh,
and it's green, so it's like the best $10 I ever spent on a little gadget for my life ever.
Well, it went up. It's $12.99 now.
Well, I got it on Amazon, so I don't think I paid full price. But like, it's cute. It works with whatever watch band you have. It works with whatever watch you have, because I had the 38 millimeter, and now I have the 40, and it still works, and it's great. And I just and the other thing I like about it is that it's very reliable, like to show me like, hey, charging. So I just love it so much. It makes my life immeasurably better. I got $10 worth of joy out of it when I got it out of the box and set it up and went, oh, this is the greatest thing ever.
They have a Game Boy one too. If you want
the Game Boy one is cute.
They have tons of them. Well,
they have loads of them, but that one is the best one.
That is a great little gadget. We got a bonus there. So
the flashing light when you do your phone, though, like if your phone was in the car, right, or someplace else that's dark and you can kind of hear it, but you can't quite triangulate. I have found it in the car more than one time because I had the press and hold. Like I could hear it, but I couldn't figure out quite where the noise was coming from. So the flashing light makes a huge difference on that one.
Absolutely. All right, we have come to a close of another episode here, so let's go ahead and wrap things up. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios, or you can also find us on our YouTube page. It's at youtube.com/DaveG65. You can also subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts and many others. But better yet, go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am David Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter @DaveG65. And Kelly, thanks as always for coming back to the show. Where can everybody find you?
It was my pleasure to be here. I always love when you come by. You can find me on Twitter as Verso. You can find me 5 days a week hosting the Mac Observer Daily Observations podcast over at macobserver.com. I also do the after show with Mike and Kelly, where Mike Rose and I continue to sort of catch up occasionally and crack each other up. So that one's kind of a fun show. And if you admit you listen to it in public, we will say hello to you on the air. And then also, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go record a podcast called I Want My MCU TV, where Don Melton, Lisa Schmeiser, and myself talk about the latest show that's streaming on Disney+. And you can find that over at The Incomparable, where I make occasional other guest appearances, like the one I mentioned earlier, hosting the Football is Life podcast about Ted Lasso.
That is so fun. Thanks for being here. And Warren, what's going on with Mac to the Future? It's been kind of active. Anything exciting?
No, there's just some drama, some not drama. Just things, I think I took a mental break from it last week, which is good.
You should, because you do post a lot there.
Yeah, I took a little break. So anyhow, but it's getting close to September. We'll get busy talking about things.
Yes, we will.
And anyways, it's always good to see Kelly, and I'm sorry I haven't been on a show with you for a while because it just hasn't worked out, but it's always fun. So
you say it's always good to see Kelly. I haven't done it in like 2 years, but it's always good to see Kelly.
I was on. Has it two? No, it's. I was on a show with you not that long ago.
On your show, yes. On Mac Voices Live, you've popped up occasionally. I think or something like that. Oh yeah, you can find me on Tuesday nights on Mac Voices Live sometimes. Yeah.
Yep. I think Guy might have said we're on hiatus for the Back to the Future Go thing.
Yeah, we are.
Did you see that?
Yes.
So we're on hiatus, which is good and fine. But anyways, thanks for having me back. Thanks, Kelly.
Of course. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. We enjoyed doing it. And we'll talk again soon.